I had a Colorado question out there, okay, from one of the guys on one of those Colorado Facebook pages on Brakelines. He's got a 6-inch lift kit like mine, and he notices that the brake lines are awfully tight even with the extension brackets they give you. Even with the brackets that they give you, these extension brackets that drop your brake lines down, these are still way too short. Look at that. So, you know, the bad thing is Rough Country does advertise extended brake lines, but they don't make them for this truck. So I had some custom ones made up over at Hoseman. So this is, in order to do that, I had to have a sample. So they wanted me, oh, just take the ones off your truck and bring them in and we'll match them up. I'm like, well, I need my truck, so that's not going to happen. So since I couldn't find a manual or any information on these brakes, like what, you got to know what size thread and what the ends look like, so I just ordered some from General Motors. I went over to the Chevy dealer and I got a whole new brake set. It was only like 50 bucks, so that's not too bad. So I brought these in to Hoseman. I said, here you go. I need some longer brake lines like these. Okay, so there's a bolt size, thread pitch, and the ends are specific. That end goes to the caliper, this end goes to the bracket, and then onto the steel brake line. Okay. Okay. So I go pick them up, and this is what he gives me. That's called a banjo, or a banjo fitting. That's not like that one. This square head here fits specifically in the brake caliper. So when you bolt it up, it will not twist, right? This does not have that. You figure this may have a tendency to twist. I'm not saying it will, but it could have a tendency to twist in the bolt there, you know, when the suspension moves. It's not supposed to twist. It has to stay still. It's not supposed to move. That's why this has this bracket too. It keeps the hose from twisting, right? This fitting here is keyed into this bracket. So I didn't like that end. I figured it might work, but I'm going to see another hose guy and see. On the other end, you get this fitting, and you see this has a specific shape to it also. So it fits in the bracket, but doesn't fit specifically in this bracket, okay? What I need to do to make these work is to just take a little file to the opening there, and because this one here has a little flat spot. You can see that in the sunshine there. So this fits into the bracket, and then it secures with the clip, and it won't twist. You don't want these things twisting. You know, figure when you're going down the road, this thing's going up and down and up and down and up and down. Not supposed to twist. So that's the issue with the front brake lines. I was hoping to change those out, but I want to see if I can get a set that looks like that. I'll go to another hose guy there, and well, there's two of them, but I think there's one in Upland. I can probably stop there on my way home. I got longer brake lines for this I need to install. Okay, see that? Yeah. And also, this here is the ABS wire sensor. This is the way GM mounts them, just on the frame. They just hang down like that. That's terrible design. Look at the one on this side. They just put a little some kind of heat protection on it because the muffler thingy's right there. So if I get around to it, I'm going to reroute this. I'm going to probably cut and splice it. So okay, so much for that. So now what I got to do is I'm going to pinch this brake line off, and then I got to unscrew it. See, I'm going to pinch it off because I don't want to drain down the whole brake system. It's going to be a bear to bleed later to get the air out. So I'm just going to pinch this hose off here so I can pull this apart, and pinch this one off here so I can pull this one out. I wish I had some kind of little plugs for them brake lines, because I don't want these to drain down a whole lot either. Alright, so let's see how this is going to work here. The camera's kind of in my way. But here's the new brake lines. These brake lines I got from, well, let's see. So let's forget about all that. But this is the new bracket, and this is the old bracket. So I detached the old bracket. I already got these brake lines fitted up with the new brackets. I just put the bracket on there. I haven't detached my lines yet because I don't want the brake fluid to drip out all over the place. So I'm going to clamp it off, and I got these clamps here at Harbor Freight. Let's see if these things actually work. The idea is just to pinch those lines off. Might. So now all I got to do is disconnect the lower bracket down here, so you can see that. Yeah, the lower bracket. So this is where these new brake lines connect. The issue I'm going to have is these things fit in here a certain way. They're like keyed, you know. There's a pattern. I don't know if you can see that there. This thing has a flat spot on one side. That keeps it from twisting. So I'm going to have to probably get my Dremel tool and resize these or reshape them to fit the new brake lines. See it? Yeah. So let's see if I can bust these loose here. That was easy enough. Alright, so I'm going to turn this off now while I work on it, and we'll be back later. The issue with custom brake lines is they've got to fit in these brackets. These are the factory brackets. And if you look carefully, they are shaped a certain way. This one has like two slots, a flat spot and a little notch there. This one here is almost a hexagon, but not quite as round on one end. And the hoses fit in there that way. So this one here has the little notches. Where are we at here? It's hard for me to see the screen because it's so bright out here. And it's hot. Damn, ground's hot. But see, these got notches on them. There's a notch, there's a notch. And they fit in this a certain way. See? It's like keyed. And that's because this side here is the steel part of your brake line. Your steel brake line goes in there, and you don't want that flexing or twisting as you're going down the road. So this is the rear bracket that mounts on the frame. This is the bottom. This fits in a bracket too on the axle, and as you're bouncing down the road, it's doing this thing. You don't want the hoses twisting. You don't want that metal brake line twisting, so it's got to be locked in to the bracket. That's what the whole idea is there for. Why do they use two different shapes here? I have no idea. It's just, that was kind of weird. And the ends on these are both different, but they both, see, that fits in there, that fits in there. Okay. Here's one of the front brake lines and the bracket. See, they fit in there, and then they clamp on with this little clip. So what you need to do with the custom brake lines when you get your new brake lines is they don't have these little weird shapes on the ends here. So you're gonna have to make this bracket fit with the new hose. So I used my little Dremel tool. So I didn't get them perfect, but they fit in there tight so they don't twist. That's the number one thing you want to do. Don't want these twisting. That's all. That takes a little time, and they've got to fit just right. You got to fit the top one, and then you got to fit the bottom one in the axle, or the other way around, because you don't want these twisted. If you don't key this right, it's going to twist your hose. You don't want that, because the bottom one's got to fit a certain way in the bottom, you know what I mean? They got to fit in exactly top and bottom. So I think I did the top first, or I did the bottom first, and then I did the tops. So they got to match. That's got to go in like that, and the bottom one's got to go in. Just so you don't twist your hose. You want the hose, no kinks in their hoses. And another thing is, you got to reuse these bolts, okay? So what you're going to need is new washers. You have copper washers in there. Those you can get any brake store, but you know, you got to get the right size, and they're not going to be exactly like the GM ones. I don't know why these are triangular, but just round copper washers bolted back together. So you got to take those apart, but yeah, see, it's got a little recess for the washers, and that's about it. So now once you get the brake lines loose, you got to put little clips on that holding things together. These things. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but this brake line has two weird notches on there that fit into that hole, which means this thing would have to fit in there just like that too, for the clip to go back on. So I got a Dremel tool, and I'm gonna see if I can reshape that hole so my brake line fits. All right, it's almost 7 o'clock, and I finally got these things in, and I don't know whether you can see them. Hopefully the light's okay in here. There you go. Yeah. So I did get a little fluid out of the two top ones. Those are my last two connections right there. I had to do the switch over. So I got a little bit of fluid out of there, but everything went okay. The tough part was reconfiguring these things, making the hole a little bigger for the new lines, so they fit. And they fit tight. You don't want these to twist. When you tighten this up, these things should be in their firm fit, so they don't twist your hoses. So anyway, that's what's up with that. I use my little Dremel tool for that. This one right here. This has like some kind of carbide tip on there. Works real good. The only problem is there's a lot of little flakes that come off there. See it? And they're sharp and they stick to you. I got some in my fingers, and I don't see nothing, but I can feel them. They feel like when some of those plants, they got those little fine little needles in them. It's like, ah, damn it. That's the bad part about that, but so that's good. When are my springs coming in? I do not know. I got some springs on order from Atlas Spring. They're called the heavy duty expedition springs. And I got those so I can get rid of the lift blocks. Okay? So I ordered those maybe 2 weeks ago. If you go to their website, there is an 8 to 10 week waiting period on his springs there at Atlas Spring. He says, yeah, typically it's 8 to 10 weeks for the springs. But he's going to try and get me them sooner since I am local, you know. So we'll see. Meanwhile, this will work. But yeah, the springs are going to be the next thing. And, oh, I still got to redo the ABS line. Reroute them, but for now I think that's it. Also, there are now gears available for this truck, so I got to get some of those ordered. 456 gears by Nitro Gear and Axle. I just found that out today, so it's about $1,000 for the gears, and then I got to find somebody to install them. All right, I'll give you a quick look at that real quick, just to be clear. So there's my brake lines in the rear, okay? See, they got to fit on this bracket and the axle, so you got to take a little file and reshape those holes to fit the new hoses. I use a little Dremel tool. Did one at a time, fit this one up, and then loop it over, and that'll determine how this bracket's got to be reshaped so they fit without twisting your hoses. Okay, and also this is the extension bracket from Rough Country. I'm still using that because they're still a little short. I didn't figure on the radius when I ordered these things. I made them 6 inches longer, and like I said, I should have probably got 9 inches longer. And then this bracket with the factory location is up here, see? You see? Does it make sense now? Alright, here's a quick look. There's the brake bracket and the factory location, okay? Same thing, you gotta size that hole to fit the new brake line. And they loop down. And the banjo fitting. This is the banjo fitting. It's replacing that square fitting that was on there. That's that.